Sometimes, a father's silence holds the wisdom of an entire lifetime. The son dreamed big, not knowing those dreams were paid for by his father's sleepless nights. When the son said, "Dad, you never became anything," the father smiled and replied, "I became nothing, so you could become everything." Down a dusty village path, an old cycle creaked forward each morning, carrying a thin yet determined man named David. On his shoulder hung a worn-out satchel containing a couple of clothes, some bills, and a small lunchbox. David worked in the town's only fabric dyeing unit. David had one dream. His son, Ethan, would become a successful man. Every night, despite his aching body and tired eyes, he sat beside Ethan and helped him study. He would often say, "Books are your weapons, son. Through them, you can conquer the world." Ethan was a sharp child, but life constantly tested his spirit. Sometimes, there wasn't enough money for school fees. Sometimes, his shoes were torn. One day, Ethan returned home furious. "Dad, everyone else has fancy bags, new shoes, and storybooks. Why don't I have anything? How long will you keep working as a laborer?" David simply smiled and said, "Everything will come to you, my son, when you succeed." Years of sacrifice and hard work finally paid off. Ethan earned a scholarship to one of the best colleges in the city. David doubled his shifts, working harder than ever to ensure his son never lacked anything. But city life was different. Ethan was introduced to a new world: sleek phones, stylish clothes, English-speaking peers, and glittering stories of success. One day, the college announced a speech competition. The topic was, "My Role Model." Students shared stories about entrepreneurs, politicians, and scientists. When Ethan's turn came, he paused. He thought, "Can I really talk about my father, a poor fabric worker, as my role model? People might laugh." Instead, he spoke about a famous businessman. He didn't mention David at all. Ethan's visits to the village became less frequent. David still rode the same old bicycle to work every day, but his eyes always gleamed with hope. During one visit home, David gently said, "Son, your dreams are mine too. But remember, no dream should trample over the dignity of your roots." Ethan didn't think much of it. To him, his father was outdated and left behind. That same night, Ethan blurted out, "Dad, you could have become something too. You wasted your life." David stayed quiet. He only smiled and said, "I became nothing, so you could become everything." Those words pierced Ethan's heart, but he wasn't ready to understand just yet. In the final year of college, Ethan landed an internship at a major corporation. During a team presentation, the manager asked him, "What's the secret to your success?" Ethan hesitated. Memories came flooding in. The nights when his father stayed up to tutor him, the freezing mornings he rode to work, the time he sold his only good pair of shoes to pay for Ethan's school forms. Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes. He finally said, "My father, a simple fabric worker. He built every step of my journey with the bricks of his sacrifice. He's my true hero." After landing his job and earning well, Ethan knew his true purpose. He returned to the village with a clear vision. He opened a new textile business, not a small dyeing unit, but a full-fledged manufacturing factory. And the first person he hired was his father, David. David looked at him, puzzled. "What is all this, son?" Ethan placed a gentle hand on his father's shoulder and said, "Dad, now I want you to do everything you gave up, for me." Tears filled David's eyes. He whispered, "Thank God, my dreams finally found wings. In you." Never underestimate the sacrifices your parents make. The real heroes are often silent, standing behind the spotlight. Success feels most meaningful when you return to those who lit the path for you in your darkest hours. Thank you for watching.